Hello everyone, my name is Slav from Hand Painted Backdrops, and I have today a privilege to meet Ian Genius, and today we will be talking about sales without selling. So we might wait a couple of minutes to see how many people and to viewers come, and we will have some audience here. And I will let you, Ian, introduce yourself while people coming and gathering here.
Thank you, Slav. The Zoom doctor. So I am Ian Genius with an Ian Genius alternative to selling. So I love sales. I love helping clients, but hate selling. So I typically get invited in by passionate business owners who love helping clients with their fantastic service, but hate selling it. They see sales as sleazy. They're not confident selling themselves. They're uncomfortable closing the sale, often unsure what their price is. They're frustrated how many Zoom and face-to-face conversations they have with potential clients that fizzle out because the prospects focus on the price of the service and not the value the service delivers, or prospects don't fully understand how the service solves their problem. I get it. Do you recognize those frustrations? Because if you do, great. I know I've had every single one of them. I got into sales since 1998, and I don't like a lot of what's selling, closing techniques, effectively forcing people under duress to say yes. Which one do you want, the blue one or the green one? When they haven't actually said they wanted either of them. Or, when should we start? Should we put it in the diary? It just makes people uncomfortable. So, if they've got a problem that your service solves and they don't use you and they're focusing on price, they're going to go to something cheaper than you. And there's always something cheaper than you. There's your cheaper competition who aren't as good as you, but they are cheap. Or they can go for a cheap option. They can try to do it themselves. They can try to solve the problem themselves, which they, inevitably do badly and waste their own time because they haven't got your skills and your passion and your drive and everything else. Or they go for the very cheapest of all options, and that's to do nothing. So a lot of people will come out of a face-to-face or Zoom conversation with someone that they know they can help, and the prospect might not say no. They might not say, I don't want to use you. But what they might say is, it's a great service, but not for us right now. They may say, what we're going to do is have a little bit of a think about it. If you had, you're a real world man, Slav. If you had 10 people that said to you, what we're going to do is have a think about it, in reality, how many of those 10 come back and buy something?
Well, if we're talking about the photography, I don't know, probably maybe 2. Max.
Exactly. So 8 people weren't really having a think about it. Not really.
No.
It's just a palm off. It gets them out of the meeting. It sounds promising. It sounds promising, but it isn't. So in any industry, and it doesn't matter if it's photography, it doesn't matter if it's sales, it doesn't matter if it's websites, it doesn't matter if it's health. To help someone, the person needs three major factors. What you want is honesty, ambition, and an open mind. My website is not perfect. I'd love it to be better. I'm open to new solutions. My photographs aren't perfect. I'd love them to be better. I'm open to new solutions. My sales are not perfect. I'd love them to be better. I'm open to new solutions. Honesty, ambition, and an open mind. And that's what you need to succeed. So what I'm going to show you today is how to help clients make better choices so you don't need to get better at selling. Okay? So if I was to ask a question, Slav, to you, and anyone at home can follow along, if I said to you, do you deliberately go looking for problems in your life?
Sometimes yes, but usually no.
Usually no, right? Usually no, because you're not a nutcase like I am. But my background was a degree in maths, and I've always been into problem solving. And with problem solving, you have a problem, you find the solution to the problem, and you make progress. Problem, solution, progress. If you don't have a problem, you can't solve nothing, can you? No
No.
problem, no solution. Stay the same. So if I said to you, Slav, do you want to progress or do you want to stay the same? What would you say?
Well, we all want progress, isn't it?
All want to progress.
Yeah.
Well, go backwards. Progress needs solutions. Solutions need problems. So rather than avoiding problems, what you want to do is go looking for them, because the more problems you find, the more solutions you can find to the problems, and the more progress you'll make. So there's three major problems. What if you spoke to 10 people that you could help? Reality says that 10 people out of 10 aren't going to say yes, please. That's not reality, is it?
Yeah.
So 10 people that you could help with a problem that they had that you got a solution to, they don't all say yes. But why would people not choose to get rid of a problem they have? Right? Because it's not easy enough to make the choice. It's not easy enough. So I look at it like this. What are the problems that stop people? What are the problems that stop prospects making better choices? What are they? And I've got them down to three. If you're not confident selling yourself, how can your prospect be confident buying from you? If you don't believe you are the best solution to their problem, your service is the best solution to their problem, how can they believe it? So the first problem is getting people out of their own way. The second problem is if prospects and clients don't fully understand how your service solves their problem, they can't make a good choice. If they don't fully understand the problem they actually have, they think they've got this problem over here. They've got this problem over here. It doesn't matter how good your solution is, does it? Because you're not solving what they think they've got. And the last thing is, if they don't realize how bad their problem is, they're not going to solve it. No one's going to solve a problem that's once in a while, every now and that's not enough. If you want
No,
people to pay, go on,
no,
Slav.
no enough pain, isn't it?
It's not enough pain. I mean, everyone here at home's had pins and needles at some point. But I would suggest that no one gets pins and needles in their hand and then rushes to A&E, because it's not a big enough problem. If your arm was about to fall off, that's a big problem. I need to solve that. So if they don't understand how big the problem is, so let's take photography, let's take headshots. If they think, I just haven't got a very good picture of me, that's not a big problem. But they're not linking that picture of them to how many people pay interest to their site, how many people contact. That might have cost them thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of missed opportunities. I haven't got a good photograph isn't worth spending money on. I'm missing out on thousands of pounds of opportunities is a problem worth solving. So prospects need to understand what problem you're really solving. You're not solving the problem I need a headshot. You're solving the problem I'm missing out on thousands of pounds of opportunities because people aren't stopping on my website, my LinkedIn profile, or whatever, and looking at what I do. That's a big problem. And the last problem I say is price and value. If they focus on the price and not the value, they'll always go for something cheaper. Now, most businesses will say, I make people money, Ian. I save people money, Ian. I save people time. And I say, how much is your website? They say £500. And what will you do? It'll make you a lot of money. Ah, good. How much is a lot of money then? I don't know. I can't tell. I'd be guessing. I don't know. So how can I justify giving you £500? I don't know. You're telling me it's going to make me money, but you don't know how much. What if it made me £10? I'm not going to give you 500 quid to get £10 back, and you don't know what the answer is. So there's loads of problems, but I'm going to focus on one today. So, Slav, if I said to you, so imagine you having lots of conversations with lots of potential clients. They're not your clients yet. They could be, though. They've all got problems you could solve. Are you getting the business you should be getting?
How many loads of Ian? How many?
Well, so however many, you know how many conversations you're having with potential clients. It doesn't matter what that number is for the time being. So you know in a year you'll have however many conversations with people that you know you can help, and you know if you're the best solution to or not. Are you getting the business you should be getting?
In my opinion, no.
In your opinion, no, right? But you need to know, because if you don't know if you're getting it, you don't know whether the things you're not getting are applicable or not. Okay, so imagine you spoke to 10 people that had a problem that you could solve, and 10 people that you wanted to help. So if there was a couple of idiots, you thought, no, I don't want to deal with you. And if someone came to you and said, I want you to drill a hole into my wall, you said, well, that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing backdrops. I'm doing photography. So 10 people came to you with a problem that you can solve and you want to solve. In reality, how many of those 10 say yes?
Yeah, I think maybe 2 or 3. Well, let's go for 2.
Two or 3, yeah? So let's say 2 go to you. That means 8 had to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Or do it themselves.
Well, yeah. They have to do something apart from you. We'll go into that in a second, right? So should you have got those 8 that you didn't get?
Probably, I would love to.
Probably. The problem with, if you say probably, that's not very certain, right? If you don't know if you should have got 8 of them, 7 of them, 6 of them, 5 of them, 4 of them, 3 of them, 2 of them, 1 of them, you can't really go for them, can you? Because you don't know. You don't know if you should or shouldn't have got them in the first place.
Ian, I would love to have all of them.
Well, you'd love to.
I'm certain, yeah.
So again, if 10 people, if you could help those 10, 2 say yes, 8 say no, were you the best solution to their problem?
Possibly, but they might don't know.
Exactly, right? And if you don't know, how can they know? It's if you don't believe categorically I am the best solution, is it possible that they might not believe categorically that you're the best solution?
Of course, you're right.
It's that, right? It's nothing more than that. So what we're going to try to do today is work out whether you are or not. And I can't cover everything because I normally teach this over many hours, but I'm going to teach a proper section of this today. Where can they actually go? It seems like there might be lots of, if they don't use you, there's lots of things they can do, right? But there isn't really. The options are they can go to your competition, they can do it themselves, or they can do nothing. Right? They can go to someone else that does something similar to you. Let's say it's photography. They can use you for photography. They can use your competitor for photography. They can do their own photography, or they don't get any photographs taken. Does that seem reasonable? Is there anything I've forgotten?
No, probably not.
No? There's no other options. You could say, well, what if my husband, what if my wife, what if my son, what if my daughter did it? Well, it's either your competition because you might give them a couple of quid, or effectively it's in the you category because you're just an extension of you. You, competition, themselves, and nothing. So we know 2 are going to you, and there's 8 that are going to your competition, themselves, and nothing. Just a quick one on nothing. Nothing can last for ever. They never ever get let's imagine they wanted a photograph taken of themselves. They could do nothing about it forever and never ever ever get a photograph taken. Or they could get a photograph taken in a year's time, in a month's time, in a week's time, in a day's time. But at some point, if they ever change their mind and they think, actually, I am going to get a photograph taken now, they still have to pick you, competition, or themselves. There's only ever 4 options. So just how many people again, you don't know because you don't see the money going into the bank accounts of all the other people. But if you said 2 went to you, how many do you think might go to your competition?
I think maybe a similar amount. 2 or
2
3.
to the competition. So 2 plus 2 is 4. We've got 6 left. So how many people do it themselves out of those 6?
Well, let's go for 2 as well.
2. So you're going to have. So you've got 2, 2, 2. 6 people do nothing for at least a decent length of time.
4 people do nothing.
Well, that doesn't add up to 10. Does it? Oh, you got 6. You got 2, 2, 2, and 4. Yes. Okay. I can't add up, and I've got a degree in maths. So 2 people go to you. 2 people go to the competition. 2 people do it themselves. 4 people do nothing. Right. So let's just pick one category. Let's do it themselves. Would you describe yourself as an expert?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, my mum a few months ago said, can you come to my house and help me with my phone? You are a phone expert. I said to my mum, I'm not a phone expert, mum. I sold phones in the year 2003, but I think we'll all agree phones have moved on a bit from 2003 to 2022.
Yeah, just a bit.
I said, I'm not a phone expert, mum. I haven't done phones for 19 years. She said, you know more than me and you can help me. And relative to me, you're an expert. Yeah, that's an expert. Someone who knows more than you and can help you relative to you. The other day, there was a little bird at the side of my house that had been attacked by a sparrowhawk. And I went next door and I said, Gary, there's a little bird here that's been attacked by a sparrowhawk. Can you help me? You're an expert. He said, I'm not an expert. I said, you know more than me and you can help me. And relative to me, you're an expert. An expert's not here on the scale. It's someone who knows more than you and it can help you, right? There'll be someone in the world that you think's even better at photography than you, and they're an expert relative to you because they can help you and they know more than you. Maybe it probably doesn't exist, but there might be. Is there anyone you can think of, Slav, that you think's even better than Slav, the Zoom doctor? Is there anyone out there that you look up to?
Oh, plenty of the photographers better than me. And one of them probably is a lady in America, Sue Bryce. I've been learning from her a lot.
Okay, good. But it's all I'm saying is she's an expert relative to you. Other people, you're an expert relative to them. If you spoke to 100 people that had a problem that you can solve and you wanted to solve, so 100 people came to you with a problem you can solve, how many of those people could do it better than you?
No one.
No one. So 100 people, how many of the 100 are in the pot of I can take better photographs than Slav?
I don't think anybody who can take better photographs than me would be start looking for me. So they know relative, like you said, relative. If they will be relative to me, better experts than me, they will never come to me for the photo, isn't it?
Exactly, that's the point. Sue Bryce isn't going to come to you and say, "Can you take some? I need photographs," because she's at photographs. You're not, you know, you're not selling your services to people who are doing photographs. I mean, you are in your backdrop world. You're helping people with taking photographs, take even better photographs, to do it even better, to give them an advantage over other people. But as a photographer, people come to you that aren't good at photographs. Now, even if someone came to you and they were very, very good at amateur photography, they still wouldn't be as good as you. They could be, you might give them, they could be brilliant. And I'm not doubting it. They were brilliant, but you're still a bit better. So, relative to you, you are the expert, no matter how good they are. If they're rubbish at photography, can you help them?
Yeah,
If they were quite good at photography, can you help them?
sure.
If they were very good at photography, could you help them? But they're not as good as you.
Yes, of course.
It doesn't matter how good they are. If they're not as good as you, you're the expert. So, if you can take photographs better than them, is it fair to say that they're taking photographs, their photographs aren't as good as yours? Yeah? So I'm not saying they're not good, they're just not as good as yours. Yeah? And is it likely that the people who are taking these photographs love photography as much as you?
Yeah, very likely.
You think the people who want your help love photographs as much
Yeah,
as you do?
why not?
Well,
Well,
why have you gone into a profession of being a photographer and they've gone into a profession of being an accountant then?
don't know. But probably I picked wrong profession, isn't it? Accountants paid better. There's
People,
a different people. I believe different people taking their professions for choosing their professions with different reasons. Sometimes people going with passion, and sometimes people going with money. Sometimes people going because they have this education, and they are experts there. So, but they might be not like so
okay,
something what they do.
okay. So, do you take photographs? You take photographs professionally.
Yeah,
You set up a photographing business because that's what you love doing.
yeah,
Do you take photographs for pleasure as well?
yeah,
So photographs are as a huge chunk of your life.
yeah.
It's a yeah. Now, and you've studied it, you've spent thousands and thousands of hours, you've read articles, you've watched things, you've gone to training, you've done loads and loads and loads of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine 100 people. How many people of 100 do you genuinely believe love photography as much as you? So 100 people that you can help come to see you. How many of the 100 do you think are as obsessed with photography as much as you are?
Well, in that case, I probably think zero.
Zero. So they would rather do something with their time than photography. If this person made shoes for a living, is it possible that they loved making shoes more than they love photography? If that's
Yeah,
what
it's
they
really,
chose to do
yeah,
for a living.
yeah, it's really possible. Yeah,
If I was a barber and I loved shaping people's beards and hair, is it possible I love doing that more than photography?
yeah,
If that's my passion is barbering. My passion is gardening. My passion is creating websites. That's what they like to do more. Their passion. Your passion's photography. Their passion is the thing that they love doing.
Mhm.
So two things we've learned from this 100 test. One, they can't do it as well as you. So relative to you, they're doing it badly. And they're wasting their own time because they would rather spend their time doing the things that they love more. So of 100 people, 100 relative to you do it badly and waste their own time.
Mm.
Yeah. But at the moment, so which choice should you be losing business to people doing it badly and wasting their own time? Is that a good choice to do it yourself badly and waste your own time? Is that a good choice?
No,
No.
no,
But
no
at
for
the
them.
moment, but at the moment, 2 out of 10 people are making that choice.
Mm.
Every 10 people you speak to, 2 of them are deliberately choosing to do it themselves badly and waste their own time. That's insanity. No one deliberately chooses that. One choice was good, one choice was bad. The good choice was using Slav. The bad choice was doing it themselves badly and wasting their own time. That was a bad choice, right? To do it themselves
Mm.
badly and waste their own time. The good choice was to use Slav. Who makes choices easy? Is it the expert or is it the idiot?
Well, that's expert.
The expert's job. And who's the expert? The person who is better than the 100 people or the person that's in the 100?
Yeah, the person who providing the photography or any
Exactly.
other. Yeah.
So you are the expert versus 100 people. There is no one that you're going to help that's better at doing what you do. And they don't want to do it anyway because their passion is doing something else. But at the moment, for every 10 people that you speak to, 2 of them decide to do it themselves badly and waste their own time because it isn't easy enough to make the choice to use you. And who helps the choice make it easy? The expert or the idiot? And it's the expert. And by the way, that's you, right? It's not about getting better at selling. What it's about is helping people to make better choices. So one of the problems, so should you be getting those 2? Should you be getting the 2 people who do it themselves badly and waste their own time?
I should get all 10, isn't it?
Exactly. But if you break each category down into what it actually really is versus the competition versus themselves versus doing nothing, you suddenly go, I should be getting absolutely everything in this. This is, so, but now that you know it, you can do something about it. So it's just about choices. No one deliberately sets out in life to make a bad choice. When was the last time, Slav, that you went to a sandwich shop and you picked a sandwich that would make you sick on purpose?
Never.
Never. No one does this. No one goes into a shop and says, where is that Brussels sprout sandwich? No one does that. They were trying to make the best choice. Is it fair to say, Slav, is it fair to say that to make a good choice, you need to understand what the choices are?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Right. So, to make a good choice, you need to understand what the choices are. So, you explain how your service solves their problem, and you want to make sure that they understand. You need to make sure that they understand how your service solves their problem. So, how do you check that they understand how your service solves their problem? What do you do? How do you check they understand it?
Asking the questions, isn't it?
Asking the questions. So, would you ever ask a question like, do you understand? Is that clear? Does that make sense?
No.
Because you've already fallen for this once before, I think, Slav. Most people will start off and they'll explain something and they'll say, do you understand? Is that clear? Does that make sense?
No
And
one will answer that, isn't it?
well, there is only one answer to the question, does that make sense? And the answer is yes, because the other answer is no, I'm thick.
Hmm.
No one wants to put their hand up and say, no, I don't understand. Now, someone says, maybe at home, thinking, well, I would say, no, that doesn't make sense. Can you explain it clearer? So they do. They make it clearer. And it starts off very easy to understand, but very rapidly gets far too complicated again. And then they ask the even more moronic question, does that make sense now? What are you going to do the second time round? Put your hand up again and say, no, it still doesn't make sense. No, that's not reality. What people do is go, thank you very much for explaining it so clearly. And they're thinking, please, God, don't ask me another question. I've got no idea what you're talking about. The question, does that make sense, doesn't make any sense. It's stupid and pointless. And I'll show you how to get past it in a minute. One way to say, have you got any questions? That would seem reasonable, wouldn't it? Have you got any questions?
Yeah.
It would seem reasonable.
Hmm.
The problem is, what if I told you about spiritual alchemy? And I said, got any questions? And you're thinking, I don't even know how to ask a question about spiritual alchemy. Right? What if I explained something to you and I said, have you got any questions? And you did want to know something, but you didn't want to ask me the same question that I've just explained because it would expose that you weren't listening properly. Right? How many times have you and anyone at home, how many times has anyone gone into a meeting and as someone has said, has anyone got any questions? And no one dares to put their hand up. One person does. And then you turn to them and say, thank you for asking that. I was thinking the same thing. We don't like exposing our stupidity. No one wants to keep putting their hand up saying, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. One way you could ask the question, have I explained it clearly? Right? Have I explained it clearly? Because that would indicate that you knew it was a moderately difficult subject. So you built it into the question. Have I explained it clearly? There's only one answer to that. Yes, because the other answer is no, you've explained it like a prat. No one's going to say that. They're going to say, oh, that was very clear. And they're thinking, please don't ask me another question. I don't know. There is one remaining method to check. And that basically is along the lines of, can you repeat back everything I've just told you? That is horrible. Can you tell me everything you like about my service? Can you tell me how you think my service will solve your problem? How much duress do you want to put them under? That's like going back to school. That's horrible. No one wants that level of pressure. Can you tell me and get them to regurgitate it back? They're flawed. Every method of questioning is flawed. There's a very easy way around that. It's to make it 6-year-old simple. Make your subject so easy that you don't need to ask a question. If you explained if you told an adult what you did, Slav, if you explained what you did to a 6-year-old child, would you make it easier for them to understand because they're only 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you make it, when you speak to an adult, do you normally speak to an adult like you speak to a 6-year-old?
No.
No. But how do you know they're any more intelligent than a 6-year-old?
Well, because they
They're
are
not gonna-
adults, isn't it?
they're not going to tell you. When you speak to anyone, how intelligent do you know they actually are? How do you know how intelligent they really are? How do you know what they really know?
We don't know. They
You
might
don't
be
know.
very intelligent on different subjects, but not
Exactly.
very intelligent on the subject what we want to talk about.
So you have to assume, don't you? You have to
Mhm.
assume. And the problem with assumptions, they're riddled with problems. They're just Slav, can can you smell onions?
No.
Well, even when they're under your nose? Well, you
Yes.
can't. You can. You. Oh, you didn't. You know when I said, "Can you smell onions?" You didn't assume I meant now, did you?
Yeah.
You didn't assume I meant in the room you're in, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't say either of those things. You assumed. That's the problem with assumptions. It's riddled with
Mm.
problems. When you assume how intelligent they are, it's going to be a cock up, right? Is it fair to say that every adult has got the intelligence of at least a 6-year-old child? Because a 6-year-old's only got 1 year of maths and 1 year of English under their belt. I don't care if this person never did a GCSE and they left at 16 years old. They've had 10 more years on this earth of experience of talking to people. Is it
Mm.
fair to say that every adult is at least as intelligent as a 6-year-old child?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what if you explained your services so easily that even a 6-year-old child got it? But you'd insult people, wouldn't you? If you spoke to an adult using the same words, the same ideas, the same numbers as a 6-year-old child, you'd insult their integrity, wouldn't you? What are you thinking, Slav? Do you think you would if you just talked, if you explained
No,
how your photography helped the adult, but you talked to them as if they were 6?
I've been thinking how to tell to the a grown up, like adult person, something what I do in a 6-year-old way. So that's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the way round that, because most people would think I can't speak to an adult like I speak to a 6-year-old child because that will insult them. But if you don't speak to them like a 6-year-old child, you can't guarantee they understand how you solve their problem.
Mm.
Is it? I know you know all about photography already. Is it okay if I explain how my service differs from the competition using some extremely easy numbers and some extremely easy concepts without me using jargon? It just makes it easier for me to explain. Would that be okay? And that's the line. So if if I said to you, I'm sure you know all about websites, Slav. I'm sure you know all about websites already. Is it okay if I explain how my websites differ from the competition using some very simple ideas and some very simple numbers, and I just remove the jargon? Would that be okay?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And now I
That's
can do anything I like,
yeah.
right? Because now if I use 6-year-old simple examples, you're not taking offense. I put the stupid on me. I said, is it okay if I use super simple examples? It makes it easier for me to explain. And you said I could. I got your permission. So you don't take offense because I'm saying I'm the stupid one. It makes it easier for me. You don't take offense. And now I can explain how my photography, my websites, my whatever it is, my backdrops, without anyone taking offense, just by getting permission. People don't want to be impressed. People want to understand. But to understand, they have to genuinely understand why it's beneficial to them, what it really does at a very basic level. If they don't understand it, you can tell if you can tell them everything up here, but if they don't get this bit here, they they're going to go, yeah, 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 yeah. I get it, I get it, I get it, and they're thinking, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know if I've have I ever done my algebra question with you, Slav?
No, I don't remember.
Well, may I ask you a question using algebra to show you the principle I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure.
So if I said 3x squared plus 3x squared equals, do you know 3x squared plus 3x squared? Do you know the answer to that?
No.
No. Is it okay if I use extremely simple numbers and extremely easy ideas. It just makes it easier for me to explain it with very simple ideas. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So if I said to you 3 plus 3 is
6.
6, okay? And I'm going to make it trickier now. If I said 3 bananas plus 3 bananas, the answer is
6 apples. I'm joking. Bananas.
6 bananas, right? And I'm going to make it trickier still. I'm going to make it an animal now. 3 dogs plus 3 dogs equals.
6 cats.
Told you not to
So let's
yawn.
make it fun a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. All you do, again, this is super easy, but all you do is you add 3 to 3 and it gets to 6, and the word repeats: bananas, bananas, bananas. Dogs, 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 not cats as you decided to pick, right? Now, I'm going to upset you now, Slav. I'm going to upset you. I'm not very good at spelling. I'm sorry if that offends you.
I'm not either.
No, I don't know how to spell the word xylophone. Sorry. I'm a man of numbers, not man of words. So I can't spell xylophones. But if I said, what do you get if you add 3 xylophones to 3 xylophones? What do you get? What's the answer?
6 xylophones.
And the fact the word xylophones is a word I can't spell or it's more complicated doesn't make any difference. The same rule applies. 3 plus 3 equals 6, and the word in this case was xylophones. 6 xylophones. It doesn't matter what the word is. So if I say to you again, 3x squared plus 3x squared, and you apply the same rule as before, 3x squared plus 3x squared equals,
6x squared.
that's the answer, right? At the end, it was very easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And at the beginning, did it seem harder?
Yeah.
So what did I do? I made it 6-year-old simple. I broke down the stages into tiny little amounts. How did I get permission to do it? Because I said, is it okay if I explain how to do it using very simple numbers and concepts? And you said,
Yes, sure.
yeah. So that's how we did it. It's the same principle. I know you know all about backdrops already. Is it okay if I explain how my backdrops differ just using some very simple ideas and numbers? They'll go, yeah, that's fine. Now you can. It's just about get permission to make it easy. People don't want to make bad choices. It's not easy enough to make good choices. You are the expert 100 times out of 100. The people at home are the experts 100 times out of 100. When people say no, they weren't deliberately trying to make bad choices. They were trying to make good choices. It wasn't easy enough. It's not the client being thick. It's you to make it easier. Put the blame on yourself and say, it's my fault. If they don't understand it, it's not them being thick. It's me not making it easy enough. And how do you make it easy? You ask permission. So there's a couple of things. Like I said, just avoid, and this is for everyone at home, do not say, does that make sense? Because does that make sense doesn't make any sense. So hopefully, again, if you at home or you, Slav, decided to work out how many of those, you said 2 go to your competition, 2 go to doing it themselves. That left 4 doing nothing, and break each stage down and work out whether you should got it or shouldn't have got it. You'll suddenly realize going, I should have got this and I know exactly why. And obviously that's what I've only shown a tiny little slither of this today. But when I work with businesses, I have to make them confident of themselves. I have to help them believe that they're the best solution. I have to get all the wrong assumptions and misconceptions out of the way, show them how to demonstrate value, show them how to simplify their message. So we've done a little slither today, and hopefully it's been of some use. I'm not going to say, have you got any questions? But you may have anyway, because I'm now in a trap. But so what are you thinking, Slav?
It was amazing. I think it was really enlightened. And what I like about your delivering, you're always delivering with some stories, with some examples. And that's why I asked you to come here and speak to my audience to help them understand that way. Mainly all sales is not as easy as you make them. You make them as easy as for 6-year-old child.
Yeah, because I've got the mentality of a 6-year-old child. I like things
Oh,
explained.
Ian.
I don't. I love things. I love it when people explain things to me 6-year-old level. If I was getting a book on dinosaurs or planets, the first book I would get is a 6-year-old book because that's easier to understand than getting some Stephen Hawking's book and going, I have no idea what this is going on about. It's too hard. I want easy.
Mm.
So yeah, hopefully it's been some use to people at home. And again, if anyone wants to speak to me at a later stage, I'm anyone can connect to me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to find. I am Ian Genius with an Ian Genius alternative to selling. So anyone can connect to me on LinkedIn, and I do a 30-minute free taster session where people can find out more about what I do, discover what sorts of problems are holding them back, what sort of impact it can make. So if anyone wants to connect to me or anyone wants to send me a message, they're very welcome.
Yeah, Ian, you post on LinkedIn Live on the under the comment section your link to your to your LinkedIn, and I will repost this to Facebook, to my Facebook page, and to YouTube, because this broadcast been streamed to all these channels. So it's also easy for you guys to find those and rewatch all this broadcast as many times as you need. It will be stay online. And I have final question, Ian, for you. Is Black Friday approaching now? And what I did this year, I last year I did nothing. So I don't, because the reason I don't like sales, I don't like discounting products, because I think the discounts, even on the Black Fridays, they putting something on your product, they people waiting for this discount after, and they also seeing this product as not as valuable, because you can discount. I put in my prices fair, and I cannot discount my product. But what I adding the free backdrops for, if people buying free large backdrops, we're getting small backdrop for free. And if they buying any of two backdrops excluding the extra small, we will get extra small for free. We have a couple of other options. If they want to check, we can go on my website, handpaintedbackdrops.co.uk, and can find out what the other options are. What do you think, Ian, about discounts and about adding values?
Yeah, most businesses will say they don't discount, not just at Black Friday, at any time of the year. They say, I don't discount. And then I say to them, how much do you charge for your service? And they say £500. And I'll say, is it worth £500? And they'll say, oh, easily. I say, well, you said, oh, easily. So do you think it's worth more than £500? They say, yeah, it's probably worth £700. Well, there's no difference between them knowing it's worth £700 and only charging £500 to charging it at £700 and discounting it to £500. So people, they call it something different, but they effectively are discounting. But in sort of answer to your Black Friday, you're not discounting, you're adding value. So I'd always say try to find a way to add value than discount the price down, because it's always harder to get back up from a discounted price. And there's nothing, yours is value for money, but you don't want it to be cheap, because it's not a cheap service. You're an award-winning photographer and a good bloke, and you are the Lithuanian Mel Gibson. So
Hopefully.
Yeah, the Lithuanian Mel Gibson, the Zoom Doctor. And yeah, so I'd try to stack some extra value, which is what you've done.
Okay.
Again, the only other thing I can say is the amount of money you make is always going to be two numbers multiplied together. It's how many clients you have times the amount of money. So if you, I mean, if you do discount your product down a bit and you get 3-4 times as many takers, well, then it adds up to more money. So it's like, it's not, it's almost like an incentive to get some extra business. But, you know, I'd rather, like you do, add value.
Yeah, I think also for not talking about the photography here, just in general, shops and retails. I think on the Black Fridays we're usually just trying to rid off all the shit, sorry, which not been sold through the year to open the space for new TVs, new some sound bars and new kettles to come in the new year, and we just want to rid off the old products for that. And that's the reason why I'm not discounting, because I don't try to rid off my backdrops, or I don't try to rid off my photography service. These stay valuable every time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that maybe it's only my perception, but I spoke to a lot of people and they say, yes, we see this happening all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been lovely, you know, getting this opportunity with you today, Slav. And are you doing? I think you're doing something as well, aren't you? Giving a couple of my ebooks away when they take some of your.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, guys, if you've been already purchasing from me any backdrops, or you're planning to do, in the final email together with receipt, you're getting the link to download the ebooks from Ian Genius. And Ian, remind me what those ebooks for, and one it's still selling on your website for about £40, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the perfect pitch, which is a 61-page ebook that shows you how to stand out, stay remembered. You know, write and deliver a pitch to be remembered. It's £37, but when it goes through you, they don't pay a penny. And there's another book called there's 5 things you never thought would improve your sales. So there's there as well. That's a 19-page. They're both easy reads. You can dip in, dip out. You could turn any particular page or scroll to any particular page on the PDF, and every page will have 2 or 3 ideas that you can apply immediately. It's a very easy book, and I mean, I've been in this profession for 24 years, and I've got a lot of passion for it. I love helping people stand out, stay remembered, and everything I know has gone into those books.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to listen to you, and yeah, for enlightening us how we can make more sales. Simply just explaining for people what we do, explaining better, explaining much easier, isn't it? And
Yeah.
that's the whole point and takeaway from this lesson. I think if people will take this takeaway, just try to explain as easy as you can what you do and how service what you do, helping your clients, easy and understandable way without the jargon, like for the 6-year-old, you will create more sales. Is that right?
I mean, I have one line. It says, before clients can use you, first they have to choose you. And that, it doesn't matter. You could have the greatest service, the greatest product in the world, but if they're not choosing it, it doesn't matter how good it is. Before they can use you, first they have to choose you. It's not about getting better at selling. It's about helping prospects and clients make better choices. We are the experts. They are the beginners. Make it easier for the beginner to make the better choice.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody have any questions? If not, we will probably finish. And yeah, if you guys want to see what the Black Friday offers from me to you is on a website, and just go to handpaintedbackdrops.co.uk. You'll find infographic there which is explains, but it might be not explains as for 6-year-old child. So and Ian told me not to ask, but if you have any questions, if you have any questions, I can explain for you as for 6-year-old child then.
Again, anyone's very welcome to connect to me. They can send me a direct message. They can phone me up. They can do what they like, really. But it'd be great to connect to anyone that's interested in improving their sales. But no, thanks very much for today, Slav.
Thank you very much, Ian, for coming, and have a good rest of your evenings, guys. And thank you very much for attending. And I'll see you on next stream. Bye.
Cheers.